It's Jason Dyer here with Deep Video. You are listening to another installment of the 30 videos in 30 days. I am joined today by Kevin Fleming. We're going to ask Kevin all the questions. Kinda. And I'll start with a little story about how I came to know of you. Because today is actually my first officially meeting you, like the first time I've met you. I don't know.
It's true.
Maybe it's because I'm 34 and I have a lot of gray hair, but saying hello on Facebook doesn't always feel like the first meet, you know what I mean?
That's fair, yeah.
It's just one of those things. But so your name was put in my brain because of an interaction I had with Fair Use Video, the band Fair Use Video, right? We did a podcast. I had him on in Bands at the Comic Shop, and I was blown away by the video work in that entire album. Question one, do you call it an album when you have it set up like that and there's all that extra video and action going on?
A lot of the questions about Fair Use Video are probably going to have to be directed towards
He said the same shit to you. I asked him these questions. He said, "Actually, you're probably going to want to talk," and that's how I got your name. Because you're probably going to want to talk to Kevin about that because I think he would know a little bit more. Now, I'm totally fine. Don't give away the secrets. Whatever the situation is, you can't, because obviously the guy is colluded. No, I'm just saying let's leave it at this. And it was fantastic. It's amazing, and I don't think it's been accurately recognized yet.
That's true.
I think that you guys are still on your way up with that project. So.
I'm kind of reminiscent of the Spartacus situation. No, it was that guy. No,
yeah, exactly. No, well, it's exactly the opposite, right? Nobody's Spartacus in this scenario. He ain't here, y'all.
Yeah.
Dave's not here, man. That's what it's like. Okay, so I got a hold of you because you run. I believe you run DFW Motion Graphics. Is that your thing, or you work?
It's not really an official thing. I'm hoping to do a DBA, like doing business as, and maybe an LLC in the future.
So you're kind of freelancing with gigs? Okay.
Yeah.
Without having to reveal too much info, is that coming from broadcast locally? Is it coming from sports? Is it coming from video marketing or corporate video? What do you?
Most of my business?
Yeah.
Most of it is corporate marketing. I mean, that's where the
real money
big
is.
Bucks
the
are.
Real money is.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the passion part of the job, though. Obviously, a lot of the passion comes from exactly what you are doing, working with local bands and actually being part of the music scene, trying to advance their careers and riding on their coattails.
Right on. How's that going? How many? I don't feel like I've yet to grab onto the coattail. Like I see them, I step on them. Right? I want to go.
Yeah.
Where are they going? But that is, you're right. That is part of the fun. Do you see yourself on the same playing field as an artist with those people?
Oh no, not at all.
Really?
I wouldn't say so. I would say about 90% of my job is technical, and about 90% of their job is connecting emotionally with other people. That might make me different from a lot of the people that you interview.
That's totally
over the next 30 days.
Yeah, no, that's totally exactly why we do it this way. Because the weird thing is, I think it's my mutant power to take all of this knowledge, aggregate it, and then make something happen with it. And I just have that belief, and that's why I'm doing the 30-30, right?
Right.
Because this is important to know, right? So if you're listening and you want to get in on video and you're learning all these things about YouTube, you've just learned the big bucks come from corporate video jobs.
In case you didn't know.
Right. If you did, and I didn't know that. Like going into it, I didn't care. Honestly, starting out, I didn't care what was happening. I just knew that I was going to make a show about comics, and I was going to sit in front of a camera, and I was going to see where it goes. Have you ever lost rights to a piece of work that you've created? And that's a tough one. Okay, now everybody listening, don't rag on this guy if you can't answer, because we all have things we cannot disclose.
I am contractually obligated. No, I'm just kidding.
I am under some.
There are a lot of stories about what your viewers have to understand about post-production. Most of the time, you are hired by someone else. You're working with their intellectual property that you get attached to, and then you lose them as if your property has been stolen by someone else.
You're just letting it go.
Yeah, I've worked on TV shows where I was let go, and I lost a year and a half worth of work.
Wow.
Wasn't allowed to show it because of a non-disclosure agreement.
Wow, so the show just disappeared from the aether.
Kind of. Okay. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but that person dropped that show and then went on to star in another show on the History Channel. So
Yeah.
all the work not only was stolen, well, not stolen. It was his.
Yeah. I understand. It feels like it was stolen from you,
Right,
Because
exactly.
you don't have that thing that you had.
Right.
I understand.
I will say the stuff that I'm most proud of has always been my intellectual property.
Yeah. You want to tell us about that? What do you dig?
I will tell you. Hang on.
Cheers.
The most fun I've ever had in my job is doing what's called kinetic typography.
Okay.
Now, for those of your viewers who aren't aware or don't know what kinetic typography is, if they ever see a video where a bunch of words are moving around,
Sure.
interacting with each other.
So, like a good example, I think
that.
the best example that we could probably harken back to, even though it's from last summer, would be that was the Weird Al Yankovic video that was a cover of that Alan Thicke song. It was called True Lies or True Lines or something along those lines.
don't think
The
I've seen
entire
that.
video
Watch that.
is exactly what you're talking about. It's a lyric video with full animation for every word that comes into frame. They bounce in different ways, they explode out different ways,
That's
they turn
it.
into different types of confetti and then gel into another type of a thing at another point, right? That's about right?
That's exactly right. A lot of people call it lyric videos nowadays, but
That's not enough information. I tried. I looked into what it would take to make a lyric video, right? I spent about 6 hours on the tutorial. I put about 2 hours into the work, and I said, fuck all this. And stopped. Like, I personally would, because I've got so many other things I got to do.
Right.
I'd like to be able to do that, and I understand the finesse that it takes to really do it well.
finesse.
Yeah.
That's a good word for it.
That's what it is, man.
Mostly patience.
You're a word rapier. No, yes.
You gotta be careful with that one.
Yes. The French accent.
Yes. It's a labor of love, that really is. It takes... The longest that I ever worked on one was maybe 400 and something hours.
Wow.
The shortest one was maybe slightly over 100. That's because I had a deadline coming up.
What was your runtime on that 400 hours? Was that a 4-minute video?
3.5 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
You hear that? Everybody stop and listen to what that man just said. 3.5 minutes took 400 hours of work. So when you talk to a video creative and that person gives you a number and that number is already low and then you lowball them anyway, that's what you're doing it to.
Oh, I could talk all day about that.
Oh, bro, I'm telling you. Hey, here's another tip, viewers. If you're watching a YouTube channel and you're thinking to yourself, oh, they must be bringing in the bucks, just stop. Unless you know they have millions, unless you know that they have all these followers, unless they are already in big time, mainstream, top tier shit, you're done. That's not how it works, man. I've been doing my channel for 2 years. I have never received a check, but I am looking at $27 in my future. It's coming. Probably 2-3 more years from now, but it's coming.
That's the start, ladies and gentlemen.
Them's the pennies, y'all. So now we'll get to the meat and potatoes of it. So I'm doing this 30-30 because it is my desire, manifest destiny, vision, whatever, some arrogant, very visionary, verbose thing,
right,
to make a worker-owned cooperative.
Yeah.
And what I want to have, what I would love to see, is a situation where we have, because I don't know what the fuck to call it, right? It's part film studio. It's part record label. It's part content aggregator. It's part program development. It's all these things. The idea is, do you make a thing? Awesome. Do you want people to see the thing? Sweet. Do you want to lose it? Do you want to sell it? Do you want to give away 30 to 55% of what you made? No? Okay. What's our alternative? This worker-owned cooperative. Have you ever looked into this before? Is this a thought that has occurred to you before?
Actually, I meant off camera. I discussed with you that house of guys that I lived with not too long ago.
You were telling me about was it 3 other musician roommates? Is that right? Or
oh gosh, it was anywhere between 3 and 5, depending on how.
The day of the week.
Yeah, the day of the week, exactly. And videographer, we all lived together. We formed.
Voltron?
Yes.
You were Keith? You formed the head? No. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know, I wouldn't know what to call it. It was half commune, half institution.
I think that they call those collectives.
Yeah.
let's go with it. Fuck it. It's called a collective. You guys got together. You put your talents together. You had a creative and shared vision, and you worked on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Making short films, making music videos. They made music to match our videos. We made videos to match their music. It was a really good relationship, and now they're called the Institute.
Right on.
And I'm slowly. I was gobbled up by the corporate world.
Oh yeah, they said, "Hey, you got it, kid. We're going to give you more hours and more money. We need you to come over here and do this thing. It's very important.
Right.
You're going to make tons of cash for us.
Absolutely.
And this is good for your future."
So I separated ways from them for a short while, but that situation has calmed down a little bit. So I'm slowly moving my way back. But Institute in Dallas, Texas, look them up.
Shout out. So are they a band? Are this still the creative collective?
Still the creative collective. They've added quite a few more people, like
Let's go.
The Davies brothers, who do a lot of graffiti downtown and stuff like that. Yeah, and hopefully soon I'll be able to take some of their illustrations and animate them and do whatever they would like for their videos.
Awesome, man. So, okay, now we can cut this. It doesn't have to be part of the show.
Okay.
Is that a paying gig? Is that going to be a creative endeavor for you? Now, I understand that you're making I understand that you are employed with corporate video, right?
Right.
So it may not be an issue to you. This may be a literal expressive endeavor.
Right.
And I guess that's what I'm asking. Because the reason I'm asking is because I think that a lot of people will see either a band, a collective of artists, a studio, and assume that, okay, this entity exists, it must be doing well.
Right.
You know, and that's why I ask. Is it on that level?
It's not a paying gig.
Okay.
These folks, I mean, they live their music.
Right.
And because they live their music, most of their income is from their music.
Right on.
And indie artists don't make a lot.
Right. That's absolutely true.
So, it's not exactly a paying gig financially, but it's a paying gig emotionally and psychologically. I mean, working with them, I do more creative things, take more chances, and stuff like that, instead of someone handing you a script and even templates. Right. I mean, even projects that are already made and saying, "Hey, customize this. This is exactly what we want, but we want the words changed."
Right. But, and then the revisions. Let's not forget revisions.
Right. Exactly.
Right. It's like, hey, I finished that thing. It only took me another 24 hours. Well, I need you to remove that comma there because we really fucking hate the Oxford comma.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, another 6 hours later, here's your render, you know.
And I hate people who hate the Oxford comma. Let me tell you.
Oh, is that? let me tell you. I'll drink to that, bro.
Here's to the Oxford comma.
Here's to the Oxford, the hate of the Oxford comma. Do you have any questions for me? Is this a complete? Is it a completely crazy idea? Do I come off as that bearded hippie asshole who's not really going to go anywhere? Does this idea seem like something that could work in Dallas?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
The only concern that I would have is I've had a lot of experience doing interviews and dealing with rights to your work and stuff like that, especially when it comes to payment, hours worked, et cetera, et cetera. Texas is by far one of the worst states to attempt this in because of the right to work status of the state.
That's actually one of the needs, or I think that's one of the reasons the co-op should exist.
Absolutely.
Because yes, it is going to be a right to work state, but the point of having the co-op is to create your own bylaws.
Absolutely.
So if within the bylaws we create a scenario that prevents that, hey, fuck you, you're fired, which absolutely would happen, right? Because the way the co-op works, theoretically, the way that the co-op works is that each individual who is invited in buys in. You're buying a share into the company.
Right.
I can't tell you fuck off. I mean, I'm going to make the bylaws that say if you're not doing your job correctly that you get ejected, right? But I don't want to have you in a scenario where you paid your money, you came in creatively, open-minded, you're ready to make some shit happen, and then just because of something, you know, because you're a creative and you decided to have anxiety and not show up on Saturday, I don't want to make that your one out, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it, man. I think that's why I'm so enamored with this. And it's weird. That's another reason I'm doing 30-30, because I know I'm tilted. I'm done. I'm already biased in that direction. So having this chance to speak with people that I would want to recruit, people that I would want to invite into this situation and have them say, you're full of shit, have it on camera, right? I want that. I really want that.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Right on, man.
I think it's a fantastic. If you bring the right people all in the same room.
Right.
I mean, that's what Scorsese did. That's what Spielberg did. That's what all the great filmmakers of history did. They brought people they knew they could count on into one room and said, "Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this."
And make it happen.
And everyone brings their own talents and skills.
I think that if that team is correct, like if that team, filmically, if that team is the Spurs, right, of like the mid to late 90s, whatever, kicking ass, taking names, going back to the championship, then you stay out of their way, right? But even in those scenarios with those guys that are in their traditional media streams that create those teams, they have executives to worry about. They have producers to worry about and that kind of stuff,
Which
right?
is why you want it worker owned.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I want that democratic process. I want to be able to vote on those types of things.
That makes sense. That makes total sense.
We have been chatting with Kevin Fleming. It's been a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, hit me up at deepvideobooking@gmail.com. You can find me at twitter.com/deepvideo. You can find me on Instagram at deepvid. You can find us on Facebook at deepvideo. You can find me at www.idle-state.com/deep video. Thanks for listening. Thanks for contributing to the campaign. Thanks for believing that we can bring a cooperative to Dallas.